My best friend is in love with my uncle. She's also paying me a small fortune to play Cupid. When I handed him the scarf she'd knitted, my uncle's jaw flexed. A moment later, my phone pinged with a notification. $10,000, he said flatly. Consider your services bought. When I delivered her handwritten love letter, he didn't even glance at it. His expression darkened, and another ping followed. 20,000. Don't ever do this again. I was getting paid by both of them. For a while, life was perfect. Until the day before his birthday. I showed up at his place, carrying a massive bouquet of 99 red roses, Chloe's latest romantic gesture. Connor lost it. His face went white with fury as he snatched the bouquet from my arms and slammed it onto the marble floor. The roses shattered into a sea of petals. I thought you knew your limits, Ava, he hissed, his voice low and dangerous. But apparently, you've learned to be shameless. He stepped closer, towering over me. Stop fantasizing. I could never feel that way about you. Not in this lifetime. I froze, stunned. But beneath all that anger, I saw it, conflict. Sharp, painful, and unmistakable. Excuse me? Let's get one thing straight. I see you as my uncle. So, why do you look like you're trying to convince yourself I'm not your wife? Tomorrow is Connor's 30th birthday. Every year, I make him something small, a handmade gift, something thoughtful, but simple. Tonight, like always, he was in the living room waiting for me to come home. But the moment he saw the giant bouquet of red roses in my arms, something inside him snapped. His expression hardened. I knew exactly what he was thinking and opened my mouth to explain, but he was faster. He tore the bouquet from my hands and hurled it onto the floor. Red petals scattered like drops of blood. Have you no shame, Ava? His voice was razor sharp. Even if we're not blood, I'm still your guardian. I'm your uncle. He stepped closer, his shadow falling over me. All these years, you've been giving me these suggestive little gifts. I let it go, because I thought you knew where the line was. But now this? Are you really pushing it this far? I found my voice, barely steady. This isn't from me, I said quickly. It's from Chloe. She asked me to bring it. Chloe, my best friend, and out of all the women chasing Connor, the only one I actually liked. She's beautiful, kind, and even Connor seems to enjoy her company. She wanted to surprise him for his birthday. The plan was simple. I'd deliver the roses, and she'd come in right after to confess her feelings. I was the advance guard, the hired wingwoman. Except, when I opened the front door to wave her in, the porch was empty. What the hell? Where did she go? Perfect timing, Chloe. Really? I turned back, ready to explain again, but the look in Connor's eyes silenced me. His face was a storm of emotions, disappointment, guilt, longing, and something else I didn't dare name. He grabbed my arm and dragged me outside, the night air cutting against my skin. I've raised you for over a decade, Ava. I didn't do it so you could learn to lie to my face. He gestured toward the empty yard. Stop using Chloe as a shield. You're not even worthy of mentioning her name. She's a decent, well-mannered girl. She would never stoop to this. In all the years I'd lived under his roof, he had never spoken to me with such contempt. The humiliation burned through me like fire. It's not like that, I whispered, clutching at his sleeve. He shook me off and pulled out his phone. Seconds later, my phone vibrated. I just sent you $10,000, he said coldly. Consider the flowers paid for. And whatever pathetic fantasy you've invented, paid for, too. From now on, don't bring this kind of filth into my house again. I could never feel that way about you. Not in this life or the next. Then he walked out into the night, leaving me standing there among the broken roses. My vision blurred as tears welled up. Just then, my phone buzzed again. OMG, I'm so sorry, babe, I totally chickened out. A second message popped up. Can you buy another bouquet for tomorrow? I'll try again. I swear I will this time. Then a third notification. Venmo. Chloe sent you $20,000. Followed by, please?
Wait.
How much?
$20,000.
I blinked and counted the zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. It was real. I slipped my phone into my pocket, feeling my tears dry instantly. Calm and collected, I knelt to gather the fallen petals. Then I opened an app, ordered a new bouquet of 99 red roses for delivery tomorrow morning, and smiled. Sorry, Connor. Her offer was just too good to refuse. It hadn't always been like this. Before I turned 18, things were simpler. The Reeds and my family, the Martins, were inseparable. After my parents died in a car crash, I went to live with Connor. He was my dad's best friend, my legal guardian. By convention, I called him Uncle Connor. And he earned the title. Even though we shared no blood, he treated me like a princess. He took me on trips to broaden my horizons, bought me outrageously expensive dresses for school dances, and once, when a new housekeeper accidentally gave me regular milk and triggered my lactose allergy, he completely lost his famously unshakable cool and fired her on the spot. Having lost my father, I came to see him as a dad figure, someone I loved and deeply respected. Every holiday, every birthday, I would make him a gift. A hand-knit scarf, cozy gloves, or a picture of his favorite sun tea in summer. To me, these were simple, ordinary gestures of love, a skill I'd inherited from my mother. But as I grew from girl to woman, things changed. Or maybe he did. My small gifts started to take on meanings he invented, and with each one, he grew more distant. Finally, whether to create space or for some other reason, he began paying me for them. The scarf I gave him on my 18th birthday? He didn't even look at it. He offered a thin smile, picked up his phone, and said, "Thanks for the effort, Ava. I just sent you 10,000. Consider it a purchase." The sun tea got the same treatment. He took one polite sip. "Tastes good. You worked hard." Another ping from my phone. "That's $500. For the picture." $500. Not for the thought. Not for the sentiment. For the product. He never used many words. The wire transfers were his way of rejecting the feeling behind the gifts. It stung. But it also lit a fire under me. $500 for tea? Where else could I find such a generous and clueless patron? He said he was buying the gifts, but never told me to stop giving them. So I doubled down. My gift giving became more frequent, more creative. I gave him presents for absurd holidays like National Left-Handers Day. I started choosing deliberately impersonal things: designer sunglasses, artisanal teas, imported milk, even a bag of Nescafe instant coffee I tried to pass off as hand-ground. And as he grew colder, I added a side hustle, running point for the endless line of women vying for his attention, delivering their gifts and messages. Paid on both ends? Not shameful. Smart. I thought this would make it crystal clear. My interest was purely familial, and now financial. Apparently, I'd underestimated him. After all that effort, I still ended up with, "I could never feel that way about you." Sigh. Re-education program. Failed. Connor came home late one night, staggering drunk. Instinctively, I moved to steady him. The moment my hand brushed his arm, he flinched like I'd burned him, shoving me away. I lost my balance and hit the floor. "I told you to get away from me," he slurred. "Stay the hell away. I don't like you, don't you get it?" "Dude," I thought, rubbing my hip. "I never said I liked you." He ignored me, wobbling toward the staircase. 2 steps up, his legs gave out, and he tumbled back down, landing in a heap at my feet. Deep breaths. Tomorrow, he turns 30. Old man alert in progress. Can we stop pretending we're invincible? I hauled him back to his bedroom, massaging my temples as I went. His consciousness flickered, but he still knew me. I tucked him in, and his hand fumbled for his phone. 2,000, he mumbled. "For your help. The service fee. Don't get any ideas." Honestly, I should have let him fall a few more times. Maybe the price would have gone up. For the sake of the money, I ignored his drunk ramblings. Then, without warning, his arms wrapped around me from behind. Heat, whiskey, and smoke mixed with his cedarwood cologne. His lips pressed feverishly to my ear. "Why?" he whispered, voice thick and raw. "Why won't you just go away?" Before I could react, his hand was at the back of my neck, tilting my head toward him. I was trapped. His eyes were no longer just conflicted. They were dark, dangerous, full of desire. That snapped me out of it. I shoved him back hard. "You need to figure out who's pushing who away," I snapped. Then I bolted to my room, heart hammering. Leaning against my door, I grabbed my phone. A plan hit me like lightning. "Chloe, Connor's trashed. Perfect opportunity. Get over here. Now." When muffled sounds floated from the room next door, soft moans, whispered words, a pang of something I refused to name stirred in my chest. Loneliness, maybe. My parents had died on my birthday, rushing home to celebrate with me. Connor, worried the day would only bring back painful memories, erased it from our calendar. For the past decade, his birthday had become our shared celebration, a day that was less about him and more about us. This year, I was the only one counting down the seconds to midnight. When the clock struck 12, the sounds next door grew more frantic. I smiled faintly, blew out the single candle on the cupcake I'd bought for myself, and whispered into the empty room, "Happy birthday, Connor. This is the last one I'll spend with you." Now that he had a girlfriend, I was free. Free to finally carry out the plan I'd been plotting for months. The truth? I always knew who had the problem between us. I'd considered it. A handsome, wealthy, non-blood-related guardian as a boyfriend checked a lot of boxes. But his feelings were tangled, a mess of guilt and repression. He refused to confront them and projected all his confusion onto me, twisting my affection into something transactional, cheapening every gesture, even the purely platonic ones. He had built me a fortress of love and security, and he had torn it down himself. That's why I worked so hard to find him a girlfriend. Not just for the commission, but to finally get myself out. Later, the noises next door quieted. My phone buzzed. A message from Connor, cold and clipped as ever. "Don't ever meddle in my business again." Followed by, "Bank transfer, $20,000. My eyes widened. Then another message appeared from Chloe. "OMG, we did it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, fairy godmother. Bank transfer, $50,000. What? Like a strong medicine, the notifications soothed my soul instantly. Who needed birthday cake when you had this? My fleeting melancholy vanished. The next morning, I was halfway through my avocado toast when Connor, usually an early riser, finally came downstairs hand in hand with Chloe. Chloe blushed the moment she saw me. But when Connor wasn't looking, she shot me a triumphant thumbs up. I winked back. This new aunt of mine was actually kind of adorable. Connor's face, however, was stoic as ever. No sign of the man who had just spent the night with her. He scanned the breakfast spread, mostly his favorites, and shot me a cold glare. "I told you. Stop doing unnecessary things." Me again? I glanced at the housekeeper cleaning in the kitchen. Whatever. For $20,000 plus $50,000, I could swallow it. My silence seemed to annoy him further. He picked at his fried egg, dicing it with deliberate intensity. Miserable, hard-to-please man. It wasn't until Chloe sat beside him that his expression softened. He picked up a steamed dumpling and held it to her lips. "This one's good," he murmured faintly. "Try it." Chloe giggled, tugging his sleeve. "Connor, stop. Ava's right here. We're adults. We should set an example." Connor's lips twitched into a small chuckle, as if remembering I was present. Then he looked at me. "Ava, I forgot to mention. From now on, Chloe is your aunt. She'll be moving in with me." His gaze was deliberate, controlled. "Once she's here, it won't be appropriate for you to stay any longer." He slid a black credit card across the table. "There's $500,000 on this. It should be enough to buy a small condo. Once you find a place, I expect you to move out. It's time you learned independence." Chloe, understanding my materialistic streak better than anyone, squeezed my arm under the table and turned to him, pouting. "Is $500,000 enough? A girl living on her own, expenses add up. Maybe I should add a little something to her moving fund." Connor squeezed her hand, a genuine smile finally reaching his eyes. "We're family now. What's yours is mine. If she needs more, I'll transfer another $200,000 later." For all that talk, I thought, why not just buy me the condo? I idly poked holes in my toast. Looking at Connor, a dizzying sense of detachment hit me. 18 to 22. For years without a single kind look from him, and the first one I get is when he's kicking me out of the only home I've known. I laughed dryly, swallowing the lump in my throat. Business is business. The money was good. I took the card. "Perfect timing," I said casually. "I got an email last night from an entertainment company in Korea. My audition tape was accepted. I leave in 2 weeks to train for a reality survival show." Clatter. Connor's fork and knife hit the stone floor, ringing sharply. Later that night, I was holed up in my room, scrolling through forums about what to expect as a K-pop trainee in Seoul, when I heard the familiar soft tread of his footsteps in the hall. Connor walked in. He hadn't set foot in my room since the day he started blocking my affections with bank transfers. The door was wide open, a silent, awkward attempt at setting boundaries in a space he was already violating. He stopped just behind my chair. I could feel the warmth of his breath on my head. For 10 full minutes, he just stood there, watching me. Deeply unsettling. But if he wasn't going to talk, I had nothing to say. Another 5 minutes passed as I scanned flights online. That's when he finally broke the silence. When did you decide all this? Why didn't you tell me? About 6 months ago, I guess, I said honestly. I have a dance background, but the style is totally different, so I needed a head start on training. Something in my answer lit a fuse. He spun my chair around, forcing me to face him. You've grown up, Ava, is that it? Think you've got wings now. His voice rose, laced with fury. Korea is halfway across the world, and you made this decision 6 months ago without telling me? How do you plan to squander the money I give you? Looking at his enraged face, I had to laugh. Absurd. I held up the black card. Connor, what are you so mad about? Isn't this exactly what you wanted? I emphasized his name sharply. The color drained from his face. He rubbed his forehead, taking a few steps back to compose himself. Be a good girl, Ava. Listen to me. You're not going. He lowered his voice, trying to sound reasonable. Do you have any idea how toxic the entertainment industry is? And if you're halfway across the world, how am I supposed to look after you? How do I face your parents? Now he remembers my parents. Where was that thought when he tried to kiss me last night? I gripped the card tighter. The plastic edge grounded me. You took the man's money. Be nice. I bit back the scathing reply and kept my gaze lowered, silent. My silence seemed to drag him down another rabbit hole of assumptions. He tilted my chin up suddenly, his voice dropping. This is a ploy, isn't it? The flowers didn't work, so now you're threatening to leave to make me cave. He leaned closer, eyes narrowed. I'm warning you, Ava. I don't respond to ultimatums. I had to blink rapidly to keep from rolling my eyes. The logic was dizzying, like Chloe giving birth while he argued over whether to save the doctor or the operating room. He didn't notice my expression. I'm telling you now, give it up. Chloe is my girlfriend. We're going to get married. And even if this trainee thing is real, don't think you can use it to manipulate me. It will never, ever happen between us. I stared into his eyes. He wasn't speaking to me. He was trying to convince himself. Behind the mask of cold authority, his eyes screamed desperate, self-destructive hunger. Honestly, it didn't move me anymore. The younger me might have yearned for a grand, dramatic love story. The me of today wanted a grand, dramatic bank account. I could have shouted, I am not interested in a handsome, emotionally stunted man on the verge of a midlife crisis. Instead, I let the credit card in my hand dictate my response. I nodded meekly. I understand. Don't worry. That didn't seem to satisfy him either. In the end, Connor refused to let me go. He hired security to guard every exit of the house, 24/7. I tried everything, tantrums, pleading, acting like the obsessive niece he thought I was. He endured it all with a twisted, knowing smile, as if my desperation proved his warped theory. The result? I was a prisoner in a gilded cage, not even allowed to open the front door. Luckily, Chloe had moved in. To escape the crushing boredom, I started hanging out with her. Around my age, fun, energetic, and refreshingly uncomplicated, she was safe to vent to about Connor. He tells me to stay away, but won't let me leave, I complained, stirring iced tea. His left brain is at war with his right. Chloe, you're my aunt now. As payment for my matchmaking services, you have to help me convince him. Chloe sucked on a lollipop, thoughtful. Guardians are like that, you know. My parents didn't want to go into a college too far from home either. A sweet, clueless girl. It's not his role as guardian I fear. It's the day he admits he doesn't want to be my guardian at all. Her face brightened. Hey, if you really want to go to Korea, I can help you escape. She leaned in conspiratorially. You want to be an idol, right? You're good at makeup, and we look similar. One quiet night, you do your makeup like me, walk out, and the guards will think it's me. I blinked, the idea taking root. Seriously? You'd do that for me? Her smile faltered. Shadowed eyes looked down.
Yeah.
I want to help you, and I want you farther away. Her voice dropped to a whisper. At night, when he's sleeping, he says your name. With Chloe's help, the escape succeeded. I timed it perfectly, leaving at night and heading straight to the airport. By the time Connor found out, I was taxiing down the runway. Nothing he could do. Just before I switched my phone to airplane mode, it buzzed twice. 2 furious voice messages. Fine, Ava. You've got guts, I'll give you that. If you don't get on the next flight back after you land, don't ever call me uncle again. That last message sent a strange shiver down my spine. I was 8 again, standing in a house full of arguing relatives. My parents had died on the way to my birthday party. In their grief, they saw me as a curse.
No one wanted me.
Except Connor. He had pushed through the crowd, knelt down, and wrapped me in his arms, covering my ears. From now on, I'm your Uncle Connor. They don't love you? I will. I never forgot it. Through everything, he was only ever my uncle, my guardian. When I was little, I'd crawl into his bed, sleep in his arms, feeling as safe as I would with my dad. Once I started growing, I stopped. I always knew the lines. I knew how to guard my heart. He didn't. The day I turned 18, that $10,000 wire transfer shattered the respect and affection I had for him. Yes, I liked money, but that transaction was the first time I felt truly insulted. The rumors were true. Being a K-pop trainee was a special kind of hell. My phone was confiscated on day one. My life became a relentless loop of dance practice, vocal lessons, body conditioning, expression coaching, and language classes. Exhaustion became my constant companion, and all I ever craved was sleep. A month passed before I got my phone back for a designated rest day. When I turned it on, my jaw dropped. Connor, a man of few words, had sent hundreds of messages. The first few were pure rage. Where are you? Did you really cut me off? Who gave you permission to sneak out like that? If you care at all about your friendship with Chloe, you'll get your ass back here. You know I won't let her get away with helping you.
I'll make her pay.
Wait, what?
No.
I can't have a future felon in the family. Terrible for a debut idol's image. I scrolled frantically, heart pounding, until I found a message from 2 weeks ago. He'd only broken up with her. Relief washed over me. No one was going to stop me from debuting. Then it hit me, an idea sparked. He broke up my one true pairing. I quickly opened my chat with Chloe. Her message history was a flood of tears and crying face emojis, 300 in a row. Interspersed were dozens of expired payment requests, all begging me to talk to Connor and get her back. I sighed. Direct, financially backed pleading? How could I resist? Time to go to war. I switched back to Connor's chat, thumbs flying across the keyboard, drafting a scathing message. Just as I hit send, a new message popped up from him. I'm in Seoul. Where are you? After a month of brutal training, I was too tired for games. I replied directly. Why did you break up with Chloe? She really loves you. His response was immediate. We haven't seen each other in a month, and that's the first thing you ask me?
Ouch.
Hard one to answer. But for Chloe's sake, I went vicious.
Sorry.
Chloe is the one who cares if you've eaten or are tired from your flight. I don't. So, why did you break up with her? He went silent. After a long pause, all he sent was a single line of periods.
Ugh.
This whole drama, without a consulting fee? When would it end? Oh, right. I wasn't getting paid. Why was I even bothering? Even though Connor was in Seoul, I didn't see him. After his string of dots, he went quiet. I shoved my phone away and threw myself into the dance studio. When I finally got my phone back, it was a flood of notifications. Where are you? And I just want to see you. Just once. Annoying. But the training program was a fortress. No matter how much money Connor had, his influence didn't reach this far. He couldn't find me, couldn't contact me, and eventually gave up, flying back home. Life as a trainee was grueling, but it went well. I had years of dance training, a vocal performance background from college, and a face the camera loved. I was the standout trainee. The company singled me out as a priority investment. 6 months later, I debuted in a 5-member girl group. Though based in Korea, we did promotions in my home country. I started posting on social media, fully aware Connor was watching. He wouldn't dare follow me officially. The world knowing about his obsession would be his nightmare. But I found his burner account. At first, I ignored it. Its feed looked like any superfan account, likes, retweets, nothing unusual. Until I spotted a single lonely post from 2 years ago, made at 2:47 a.m. What do I do if I'm in love with my niece? No one had seen it. Only one comment existed, his own. Ava. A secret love. No one cared. And at that point, neither did I. I had no energy to deal with his barely contained feelings. I just hoped that distance would let him let go, as it allowed me to. That hope evaporated after a promotional event. I performed a dance cover with the lead dancer of a boy group, Electric Chemistry, notoriously sexy routine. The company leaned into it, manufacturing a fake dating rumor to boost profiles. After the show, my phone exploded with messages from Connor. You're a dancer. You don't need to be that close to him. Why can't you wear a longer skirt? Who gave you permission to touch him? Who gave him permission to touch you? I had just got my phone back and was still reading when a call came through. He must have seen me active. His voice was ice. Did you see my messages?
Well,
Answer me. After an exhausting day, being spoken to like that was the last straw. Even if he was my guardian, the dutiful niece act was over. Are you yelling at me as my guardian right now? I asked, my voice dangerously calm. Or, are you questioning me as my boyfriend? That shut him up. He was silent for a long moment before changing the subject. When are you coming home? The holidays are coming up. I slipped into my pre-rehearsed, corporate-approved response. I don't know. It depends on the company's schedule. Another stretch of silence, filled only by the faint tapping of his fingers on a keyboard. I'd lost all patience. Look, if you're busy, I should go. I just sent you $50,000. Consider it a fee for you to come home and see me. Please. I froze. This man. Why was this the only way he knew how to express himself? Clumsy, pathetic, and infuriating all at once. This time, I declined the transfer. I took a deep breath and told him the truth, a truth buried for years. You know, Connor, I was never obsessed with money. Not really. My parents died when I was young. All I ever wanted was to be loved. Fatherly love, motherly love, friendship, any kind of love, I would have taken it. You were the one who gave me something that felt like family, so I gave it back to you. But your own feelings got twisted, and instead of dealing with them, you decided the problem was me. You decided that my need for affection was actually just greed. For the first time in years, I was completely honest with him. His voice faltered. I'm sorry, I cut him off with a small, sad laugh. Don't be. In a way, you should be proud.
you were right.
I do want love and money now. That's why I became a performer. I gazed out at the glittering lights of Seoul. In this world, the love and the hate are simple.
Loud. Clear.
No mind games. On stage, I see thousands of eyes looking at me with pure adoration. And as it happens, the pay is pretty good, too. I could hear his ragged breathing. He knew what was coming. Don't say it. I closed my eyes, delivering the final cut. So stop trying to buy my affection with wire transfers. It doesn't matter how much money you send me anymore. I won't be revolving my life around you ever again. I have love and I have money, both on my own terms. I don't need you anymore. 3 months later, my group had a scheduled performance back in the States. As soon as we finished, Connor appeared in my dressing room. Not surprising. Back on his home turf, pulling strings to get backstage would be easy. It had been almost a year since we'd seen each other in person. His face showed the subtle marks of a man entering his 30s. He seemed more like an uncle. I kept my distance, offering a polite, professional, "Hi, Connor." He looked me up and down, letting out a long, mournful sigh. "Ava, you're so thin." "It's part of the job. All this work, you must be exhausted." "It's manageable." He was never good at small talk. In the past, I would have chattered away, guiding the conversation. Now I offered him nothing. The silence grew awkward. I turned to the mirror, starting to remove my stage makeup. An idol's time is measured in seconds. I had none to waste on a staring contest. After a long pause, just as I finished, he spoke again. "That day you left, was it because of what I said? Because I told you to get out? Or was it because of Chloe?" I vaguely remembered clarifying all of this on the phone. Was 30 the new onset age for menopause? I frowned. "Does it matter? I told you before, I was already planning to leave." My words didn't register. He shook his head, desperate. "I don't believe you don't need me. I don't believe it." He stepped closer. "I know you're angry I used money to push you away. But giving you that $500,000 to leave, it was because I was losing control. My sanity demanded that I sever the tie between us before I did something I couldn't take back. And Chloe, I knew you were trying to set us up. Being with her was a childish, spiteful act. It's over. We're really over." Spiteful? A spiteful one-night stand? I almost laughed. Do you hear yourself? There were dozens of women chasing you. If you hadn't shown even a hint of interest in Chloe, I never would have helped her. You can lie to me, Connor, but don't lie to yourself. But I was only interested in her because she has so many of your qualities. His voice cracked. She's cheerful, optimistic, always laughing, like a little sun. The only difference is she spends more money than you do. A small, nostalgic smile appeared. My phone buzzed. "Manager." Time to go. I held up a hand, cutting off his trip down memory lane. Stop. Just stop. Why are you here? If it's the same old stuff, I thought I made myself perfectly clear last time. Meeting my cool, indifferent gaze in the mirror, his eyes reddened. You couldn't have been blind to it all these years, Ava. You must have known how I felt about you. His voice thick with unshed tears. I don't believe what you said on the phone. I don't believe you didn't care about Chloe. And even if you don't have feelings for me now, I just came to ask one thing. He looked at me, stripped of pretense. In all these years, was there ever a single moment you felt something for me? I paused. And in the mirror, I noticed something else, a crack in the door behind me. For a split second, I saw the glint of a camera lens.
Shit.
I forgot all about Connor and shot out of my chair, bolting out the door. Reflexes sharp, I caught the paparazzo before he could back up his files. A private confession wasn't exactly a career-ending scandal, but I had zero desire for my messy history with Connor to become trending fodder. I watched him delete every photo and video, then paid him a hefty sum for his silence before walking away. The hush money, of course, came from the black card Connor had given me. His mess, his problem. I didn't go back to the dressing room. I went straight to my manager and got in the van. Leaning back, I finally let myself breathe. What was Connor thinking, confessing in a place like this? It felt like everyone in my life was conspiring to sabotage my career. I pulled out my phone, fingers flying. I always knew how you felt. And I can tell you unequivocally that I have never felt the same way. I'm a public figure now. Any possibility between us is gone forever. I understand your past struggles, so I'll pretend today's conversation never happened. But if you don't want your disgusting little crush broadcast to the entire world, you will never contact me again. Message sent.
Disgusting.
It felt good to finally give that word back to him. I returned to Korea and my life as an idol. Connor never replied. I'd expected him to put up a fight, maybe try a few desperate moves, but he went completely silent. Even his burner account on social media went dark. Months later, I got a notification from Chloe. Ava, guess what? Your uncle and I are getting married next month. You have to come to the wedding. Followed by bank transfer, $9,999. This woman. Her love language was wire transfers, a habit that warmed both my heart and my wallet. I called her, and she filled me in. After Connor broke up with her, she hadn't given up. During one of their on-again, off-again encounters, she'd gotten pregnant. With a baby on the way, Connor finally buckled under the pressure from both families. He'd agreed to marry her. A happy ending for everyone, I suppose. I declined the transfer and sent one back for $8,888. This is my wedding gift. Congratulations, Aunt Chloe. My schedule is insane, so I won't be able to make it, but I'm so happy for you both. After hanging up, I checked my bank account. The number was reassuringly large.
Perfect.
Idols aren't allowed to date anyway. My true and lasting love. Money. A person without attachments is a person without fear. My career, free of distractions, soared.